So we've been doing the 3 points. They're great to start to learn, but then when you start getting a little bit more advanced, we're going to start doing wheel landings.
So I'm going to go right rudder, up tail on. You're thinking, no way.
This is part 2 of my tailwheel training with CFI Keith in Lockhart, Texas. In the previous video, Keith and I got into his Piper Super Cub and he gave me an introduction to tailwheel operations starting with taxiing, and then we started working on some basic pattern work with 3-point landings. We beat up the pattern for about an hour at Lockhart, and then we came back to the hangar to debrief what we've done and then brief what's next, which is forward slips to landing and then wheel landings.
All right, so today the winds are coming from the left side, so we have a left crosswind, so generally you're going to be crabbing into the wind, right? What we're going to do is when we want to slip, we want to always turn into the wind and then use the opposite rudder, right? What a lot of people do wrong is they're afraid of stalling, so they'll slip and then they're going to dive. And then when they come out of it, they're going to have gained a whole bunch of airspeed. The way to prevent that is you set up the glide, you set the pitch attitude, you set the slip up, but you don't change the pitch. The airspeed's not going to be accurate because it's not in the wind stream anymore. It's going to be off to the side. What a lot of people do wrong is they go to slip and they dive because they're afraid of stalling or stall spin accident. But when they come out, they're 20 knots too fast. And they're never going to make their spot that way.
I must say I'm guilty of that exact thing. I've done that a million times in the 172 because I kick it into the slip, see it get down to like 60, 55. So I'm like, okay, nose down to keep the speed up. But I wanted to send rapidly. And then just like you said, I get out of the slip and I'm going like 75 knots. There we go.
I got the controls. You got the controls. All right, in the white arc, 1 notch of flaps. All right. There's your first notch. All right, give me some nose up trim. Full flaps. Full flaps. About 55 on the speed. I haven't lost any altitude. So I'm going to go right rudder, up tail arm. You're thinking, no way. That was pretty cool. And you greased it on. Like I said, it's always best to be lucky than good. Alright, we stopped more than halfway. Let's go ahead and clean it up and take off from here. Alright, flaps are up. Trim is set pretty good. Alright, so isn't that kind of cool? That is kind of cool. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing to be the master of the machine.
5113 Juliet.
And I had full right rudder.
3 miles to the south.
And I was just using the aileron just to keep it coming down.
Down for the,
ready? Alright, yeah, let's do it, man. You have the aircraft.
Alright. Lockhart traffic, Super Cub is taking off. Midfield runway 18 left close. Lockhart.
You do want to be a little high so we can slip? Just that a little bit. We're going to do a 3-point landing again.
I probably will extend a little bit just to give me some room.
That's fine.
But I'll maintain our altitude.
A lot of times those guys go to the end of the runway too.
Hey, Lockhart traffic, Super Cub 53 Papa turning left base runway 18 Lockhart.
So again, just get it set up, go and pull back the power, set it up for that 60-mile-an-hour glide. A little high, but there. Go ahead and get that second notch in, full flaps, and then turn. I'll probably need to start putting that, once you get right your 60 miles an hour, go ahead and start that flip.
Hey, Lockhart traffic, Super Cub 53 Papa final runway 18 Lockhart.
That was a little low, right about there is where it should
traffic, Skyhawk 13 Juliet is on
down. A little bit more, hold on a little bit more rudder. There we go. So rudder's all the way, so you can't do any more. Good. All right, what's our ready to descend?
Under 16.
Alright, cool. Good. Looking good. Hey, just take it out and check your airspeed. I think you're good. You're on a glide path now.
Yeah, I am.
See that?
Yeah.
It's under control. It's not like, you know.
Right, yeah, there's nothing to it.
Because probably in the past you're like, oh shit, now I'm way fast. And I pitch the nose up, now I'm high, I'm going to land. Alright.
I'm going to try not
just
to
a little bit of
flare.
power now.
Try
There
not
you
to
go.
flare early. A little bit of skip.
Alright. Alright, get on the brakes. Back. Alright, cool. I'll be out. So this time what we're going to do is I'm going to demonstrate a wheel landing.
Okay.
Alright, so they'll give it to me at midfield, right?
Alright, so
Everything's exactly the same, except you're going to touch down the main gear, and then you're going to remain on the main gear. And eventually what's going to happen is that the tail's going to stop flying. Once the tail stops flying, it comes down, and then you're going to go straight forward.
Alright, so it's exactly like a freeway landing. The only difference is we're going to carry power in the round out. Okay. And then once we touch down, it's stick forward to reduce the power at the same time.
So what's going to happen is you're going to touch down. As it starts to slow down, it's going to want to try to weather vane to come down. So I call that the no man's land. So the key is to actually kind of get the tail wheel down before that, so that you can have effectiveness. But if you do it too soon, you'll become airborne again. So what we're going to do is we're going to touch down, and we're going to try to make it stay on the ground. Now you're going to do something that you've probably never done before. You're going to take the stick and go forward as soon as you touch down.
I tend to do these on a crosswind landing. I usually don't use full flaps. Okay. So just partial, 50%, which is nice. Alright. Alright, we got a left crosswind. A little bit of one, not much. Full fast, correct for that. Alright, so I got a little bit of left crosswind. Step forward, happy feet. I'm not center line, I'm trying to get there. I'm starting to lower the tail. Alright, now I can get on the brakes.
okay.
So I'm lowering the tail, I'm doing it real slowly to make sure I don't become airborne.
Right.
Alright? Alright, flaps, trim, carbine.
And are you doing the takeoff or you want me?
You got it.
Alright, got the controls.
Alright, yeah, the controls.
Lockhart traffic, Super Cup 53 Papa is taking off runway 18 left closed. Lockhart.
Now that Keith demonstrated the wheel landing, he's going to give me the controls and walk me through a few wheel landings here at Lockhart. Then after that, we're going to head over to a private ranch runway and do a few grass landings. We'll speed through the takeoffs and patterns since we're really focusing on the landings at this point.
Alright, so everything's exactly the same. The only thing is now you're not trying to flare.
Yeah.
And so that same attitude that you had when you're taking off, with the tail raise, is that same picture you're looking for.
And I'm going to keep it at half flaps.
Right. A little bit of left crosswind, not much. Keep it going straight, looking really good. Force it. Step forward. There you are. Happy feet. I pull back on the stick. Got that.
Alright. I ballooned a little bit there.
Yep. Yeah, a little bit. You kind of force it on the ground a little bit too.
Okay. Alright, trim that. Ready?
Alright, up.
Keith mentioned I forced it onto the ground a bit there. In part 1, we mentioned, quote, giving it back on the back pressure during landing. And that's basically what I did here. It's something I always teach students to not do, and here I am doing it. It's so easy for me to see myself doing this on camera, but with everything going on inside the airplane, I'm not even realizing that I'm doing it. But before the end of this flight lesson, I'm gonna finally realize it.
Alright, I'm gonna let the ground to me.
The way you roll it on is the landing's almost a surprise.
Crossing
You know what I mean?
midfield
Yeah.
for a teardrop entry into runway 18.
That's very true. Never thought of it like that. hold it straight here.
There you go, stick forward. Happy feet. Left aileron. Happy feet, happy feet. Happy feet. Bring that tail wheel down. Alright, I got the brakes. Alright. You're just a little bit of left rudder. I don't know if you noticed that. You're just a little bit cocked that way.
Okay.
So you straightened it out though. So nice. Alright. Stay up, let's go.
That one was definitely a little bit better than the last one. I was actively focusing on not giving it back on the stick. Once I pulled some back pressure, I was sure to not let that nose come back down by relaxing the back pressure. I still came down just a little bit hard, and like Keith said, I was just a little bit crooked when I touched down, and I also need to be a lot quicker with adding a little bit of stick forward just as soon as the tires touch the ground. It's kind of a difficult thing to do with your brain, because normally when I touch down in the 172 or any other tricycle gear airplane, I start to add back pressure and get the weight off the nose and get more weight onto the main gear, but with this you're kind of doing the opposite because the CG is opposite. So as soon as you touch the ground at the wheel landing, you want to go to idle and just give it a little bit of stick forward to kind of stick the main wheels to the ground and make sure that the airplane's not going to start flying again. But of course you don't want to give it too much and start to tip the airplane forward, and of course you don't want to touch the brakes when you're in this configuration. So I definitely still need to work on kind of that muscle memory of giving it just a little bit of stick forward at the same time as going idle when you touch down on the wheel landing, and also I need to get better at being consistent with those crosswind inputs. He keeps having to tell me to put left aileron in there, and I just keep forgetting. So all that being said, let's do it again.
Like our traffic, Super Cup 53, pop and turning final, runway 18, stop and go, Lockhart.
Our traffic, Skyhawk 5113 Juliet will be departing the pattern to the southeast, Lockhart. Last call.
Alright, that guy's leaving, so that's good.
Have it to ourselves at least for a minute.
Right.
Alright, 50% flaps is good enough with me. We're a little fast, but I think that's okay.
You're a little slow on the stick forward.
Okay.
Alright, go ahead and bring it back. I got the brakes.
So I definitely think I did better with not giving it back on the stick. I was very consistent with holding the back pressure in there. Came down a little bit hard, induced a bit of a bounce, but like Keith said, I didn't get the stick forward fast enough, and looking at the footage now, I also see that I totally did not put the aileron into the wind once again. So definitely getting better, but it's just working on that muscle memory of getting that stick forward, power to idle, and then I just need to constantly be thinking about the wind and be aware of where that stick should be.
Alright, so let's say we're on a grass strip right now.
Okay.
You don't want to get on those two main wheels because you might hit something that would cause you to go over, right? So what we do now is we're actually going to keep the tail low.
Okay.
But as we accelerate, we're going to bring one notch of flaps up.
Okay.
Okay, and basically what that's going to do is it's going to pop us into ground effect. We're going to accelerate, climb up, and then once we're at 50 feet, we'll lower the flaps again.
Okay.
Alright? So we're going to do this as a team a little bit.
Alright.
I'm actually going to do the takeoff, but I need you to bring the flaps up.
Sounds good. Alright.
Alright, you ready?
Yeah, you have the flight controls.
I have the flight controls. Alright, here we go.
Yeah.
Alright, flaps. Alright, you can bring them up. We're over here now?
What's that?
Right
Yeah,
there.
I got it.
Alright, cool. I'm always amazed how many people have never really landed on grass.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like, oh.
I've landed on grass a ton, of course.
Yeah, I know you've
never-
done Atlanta. I think I saw a video you did. Eiffel flaps.
Traffic, Cessna 154 is 2 miles to the north of the field, Lockhart traffic.
Alright, so I'm a little high. I lean to the right. What? I say I'm coming in at an angle, it's because of the trees.
Okay. much more forgiving on grass.
It is. Because you have to flips a little bit.
Right.
Alright. That's a real grass landing. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to go back, take off. I'll let you do the takeoff. I'll let you come back and do a landing.
Okay.
I'll let you taxi. You have the aircraft?
Alright, I have the aircraft.
Oh, kind of cool, you know?
Yeah. This is a little private ranch?
Yeah. One of my real good friends' ranch.
Oh, very cool. Alright, so landing in here, are we shooting for a 3-point or a wheel?
Yeah, 3-point.
Okay.
Definitely. Basically, because of that same reason. Now, if it was like a fairway, like a golf course, then you'd probably do a wheel landing. But generally, because you're going to be slower, you're going to be full flaps and you'll be slower. You'll do that. Alright?
Gotcha.
Alright, so remember, we're going to get it going, then you're going to pop that flap, that 1-notch flaps up.
It looks like the wind is right down the runway according to the flag up there.
Probably is.
Alright, so we don't need really any aileron.
Right.
So stick all the way back.
Right.
And you ready?
Yep.
So this tail wheel is straight.
Yep. There you go. Flaps. Alright, there you go. And you try to get into ground effect. And let it accelerate. Once you're at 60, climb at 60. We do right traffic here, by the way.
Okay.
Fastwood traffic, runway 26071, 563, entering left downwind, runway 175.
You can be a little bit lower here. You can do 500 to 800 feet if you want. Alright. Alright, you can go to full flaps now. Get it trimmed up for your final.
Taylor driving, Skylane 21475, 5 miles southwest, 2,000 inbound.
So now you can see why having being precise on where you land is important now. Right. You got a 2,000 foot strip.
Exactly.
Right? Nice, keep the stick back, don't keep it back. Keep flying the airplane. There you go, that was all you.
Alright, perfect.
That cool?
Yeah.
You can see when you have grass strip, you don't really need brakes either.
Right.
Pretty much the friction will stop you.
Right.
Alright, back taxi.
Alright, I think I just had a light bulb come on.
Which was what?
Not giving it back after I've touched the ground.
Right.
This airplane does bounce a little bit, and I think what I'm doing, I'm making the bounce worse, just like a porpoise.
Right.
By giving it back a little bit.
I had my hand around it and I felt it go forward a little bit.
Yeah, I need to stop.
And it could just literally be the bounce, you know, it's bouncing. You're not like keep locking it in and keeping it there.
I think what I'm worried about is by going, bringing the stick all the way back after I've touched the ground, is getting flying again, but we're not fast enough.
Right, and remember, if the tail wheel and the wheels are on the ground, we're not stalled. So, you have that extra speed, it will take back off, but you're not gonna like go like that unless you bring that nose up. So,
yeah, very cool. That was good.
So it's like kind of bringing it together, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And that right there was an incredibly important conversation. I brought up that I think a light bulb just went off because while we were landing there and we were kind of bouncing and I was kind of messing with the stick going back and forth, Keith said while we were bouncing, don't give it back. And then immediately when he said that, I pulled the stick back toward my lap and I left it there and it kind of like smoothed out the whole landing and we stopped kind of doing this almost like a porpoise kind of thing. So what I've always taught to students is when I bring up the concept of don't give it back, I'm mainly talking about in the flare, just before the airplane touches the ground, because that's primarily where I notice people giving it back, and that's where it tends to be a big problem because you could induce a porpoise by doing that. But I've never really thought about the concept of giving it back, quote unquote, after you've touched the ground. But it is important in tailwheel and even nosewheel airplanes. If you think about it, once you've landed in a 172, you start to add some back pressure and you don't let that nose come down. You hold it off, you still hold that nose up and let the energy die, and then finally the nose will gently set down, and then and only then can you start to relax the back pressure. It's the exact same concept here. I need to hold the stick back. Once I'm in the flare and I'm just about to touch the ground, I need to hold that stick where it is, and it's okay to add even more back pressure if I can, but the most important thing is don't let it come forward because you'll make the bounce even worse, and you'll kind of get that tail flying again for just a moment. So after that landing, we're going to do the takeoff here out of the ranch, and Keith's pretty much going to sit back and let me fly the airplane back, and we're going to do a couple more landings at Lockhart, and he's going to leave it up to me what I want to do, how I want to do them. And those 2 landings at Lockhart that are going to follow this takeoff that we're about to do really amazed me how much they improved when I just got it in my head that once I've committed to the airplane flaring and touching the ground, I pull back on the stick and I do not give it back until the airplane is totally out of energy and indefinitely on the ground. So let's do this takeoff out of the ranch and head back over to Lockhart.
Alright, so try to bring it, let's wait a little bit longer to bring those flaps up. Okay. Alright, I'll help you with when to do that. Alright? So the idea is literally what should happen is we should bring that up and it should put us right into ground effect. Okay. Okay? And it'll get us in the ground effect, we're going to accelerate to 60 and then we'll climb out. So,
What do you think is a good like speed to watch for the flaps?
I've never looked. It's all seat of the pants.
Okay, yeah. I'll just try and feel it.
Right.
Alright, you ready?
Yep.
Alright, stick all the way back. Got a little bit of a left crosswind. Alright, you ready?
Yep. Alright. Yeah, that's it. See how immediately went it right in the air?
Right. Yeah, that was pretty
Let it
immediate.
accelerate to 60 and then climb. That was where it should be.
Okay.
So the reason it's actually the Super Cub manual to do it that way, and what it is if it's that way you don't have the drag to accelerate, so you're getting off as quick as you can. But then as soon as you are at that speed, you can like put it in and you pop it up and get it right in your ground effect.
Gotcha. That totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Alright, you want to make a right turn back to Lockhart?
Yeah. I'm gonna see if I can look up in the POH here.
Okay.
See what it actually says. I'm pretty sure it doesn't give a speed.
Lockhart traffic, Super Cub 53 Papa is approximately 2 miles to the southwest of the field. We're going to cross over midfield and enter the left downwind for runway 18, Lockhart.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a couple landings, 2 more landings. Dealer's choice, so I'll just let you do whatever you want. Okay. And we'll call it a day.
Alright, sounds good.
I'm going to try to be quiet and let you just fly the airplane.
Alrighty. We'll do a wheel landing first, and we'll see how well that one goes.
Alright.
And I'll decide after that. Lockhart traffic, Super Cub 53 Papa turning left downwind runway at 18. Stop and go, Lockhart. And I'm going to try to be quicker on getting those the gear stuck to the ground.
Alright.
With the stick, get that forward stick.
Alright, so yeah, the forward stick is what you want to concentrate on. But don't force it.
Right.
Let it come to you.
Traffic,
As soon as it's down on the ground, I'll back stick forward.
Lockhart traffic, Super Cub 53 Papa is turning on a left base for runway 18. Stop and go, Lockhart. Lockhart traffic, Super Cub 53 Papa final runway 18. Stop and go, Lockhart. Good with 50% flaps. We're a little fast.
This is okay. Adjust your aim point. Hey, a little power in. Perfect. Happy feet? Good, good, good. Alright, slowly raise that, or lower that tail. Take all the way back. Get on the brakes for you. Okay.
Yeah, that felt a lot better.
Oh, it was all you. Very nice.
Alright, flap. And carb heat. We still good on?
You can switch tank. On the right tank.
We're about to take off.
Right. Alright.
We'll go ahead and do, I'll just finish it off on the left.
Alright, that works.
Alright, we still got a left crosswind.
was all you. Good. All right. Nice job.
I'm feeling a little bit better about it.
Yeah. So I've had student pilots where they go up and we get like 10 hours of tailwheel cup time, and they come back to the nose wheel and they're like, that's boring. It's too easy now. They, definitely have a real appreciation for slips, for making sure that you're tracking straight down the runway.
Yeah. That's absolutely right. Alright, we'll try and make this one a 3-point, and I'll try to focus on not giving it back, giving the back pressure back.
Alright, sounds good.
Because landing on the grass over there, it like finally, I got it, okay. I see what I'm doing now.
Right.
I'm probably going to review all this footage, and after the second landing, I'm going to be like, you idiot, what are you doing? Lockhart traffic, Super Cub, 53 Papa left base, runway 18, full stop, Lockhart. And Lockhart, Super Cub, turning final, full stop, runway 18, Lockhart. We don't have a super crazy wind, so I'm cool with full flaps.
Don't forget the aileron into the wind. That was good. So left wing come up a little bit?
Yeah, I did.
Yep.
Lesson number 2 down and probably several more to go. It's a super rewarding moment for a flight instructor when the light bulb comes on for a student and they start getting it. That's why I made a point to voice it to Keith when I realized what I was doing wrong. Those last 2 landings weren't perfect, but they're much better than the beginning, and that's progress. This is part 2 of probably what will be a 4 or 5 part series covering my tailwheel training from start to finish. I will be posting the full-length edits of these lessons on Cockpit Club along with the full ground school brief and debriefs. They're super long but educational, and if you're interested in seeing those, you can learn more at aviation101.com/cockpitclub. If you liked the video, be sure and hit that like button and subscribe and turn on notifications. If you haven't, a new video comes out each week. Additionally, if you'd like to support the channel, you can head over to aviation101.com/store and shop merch and gear there. Until next time, I want you to go out and do something that challenges you and your skill set. Get a new rating, an endorsement, or just go out and practice something you haven't in a while. I want you to stay happy, stay healthy, stay current, and of course stay proficient, and we'll see you on the next Tailwheel lesson. Fly safe.